Amy Robach, 50, and TJ, 46, have been public about their romance since it was revealed back in 2022, leading to their firing. They were originally anchors on the third hour of Good Morning America. After their secret relationship was leaked, they were both fired from the daytime TV show. They were both out of work until December when they started their own podcast. The podcast debut marked the first anniversary of their ouster and capped off an extremely rocky year for the couple. TJ opened up about alarming threats sent to him last year on the new Tell All podcast he shares with Amy. In the first episode of the Apple podcast, he talked about the moment their relationship was made public at the end of November 2022, and the terrifying threats they received just days prior. Amy explained that they were planning to announce their relationship in January, saying, "Right before the pictures came out we thought, shall we tell them what's going on? And we felt, let's just get these divorces cleaned up and then let's do it. But we had every intention of doing it, and we didn't believe we were doing anything technically wrong." AJ agreed, "Technically, we failed at being good crisis managers, we failed at understanding some level of celebrity that neither one of us thought we had." The television star went on to reveal, "We were threatened, I think, is the right way to put it with this. Days before the first pictures were taken of us, the second week of November, we were directly threatened. I don't want to get into where it came from, but something was being demanded of us. And it was, if you don't do this, then we are gonna make it bad for you. It was directly said to us." He then divulged, "At that time we didn't see any urgency to it, but 2 days after that, sure enough, there was somebody unbeknownst to me parked outside my home, following me to work starting at 4 a.m., and following us out of town for hours, following us all around. And I don't know how you prepare for something like that, but it was awful." The star then revealed that sure enough, the news broke the same weekend. A scary week kick. In the same episode of the podcast, Amy recalled the moment she rushed to TJ's apartment, fearing that he was dead after news of their relationship broke. She said TJ was in a very dark space the day after their affair first made headlines. He was sending her messages that caused her to do what she called a welfare check on him. The messages were in past tense as he told Amy about how she was the love of his life and that he was sorry. "You sent me a text basically saying I'm sorry. You were the love of my life. I'm so sorry this has happened. You just kept saying you were sorry but you were using past tense," she said. "I texted back saying, you're scaring me. Please tell me you're okay." No response. I say, "I'm calling you." No answer. TJ didn't pick up FaceTime calls either, which led Amy to rush to his apartment to check on him, with her father at her side. That's where she found him incoherent on his bed. "I was shaking," she said. "I remember going down the hall, opening the door, and I saw you, and you were just sprawled out on your bed. I ran to you," I said, "TJ, and you didn't move." She started crying as she recalled touching his body to see if he was warm. "I was so afraid," she said through tears. "You were just so incoherent." TJ admitted that earlier that day he was pounding vodka and eating an unknown amount of weed edibles. In a different episode of the podcast, the couple confessed that it's been challenging for their kids to accept their romance. The former GMA3 hosts took a question from a listener about what their bonds are like with their respective children. Amy responded, "Evolving is what I would say, and we had relationships with each other's kids when we were just friends, and so as tough as it's been for so many people in our lives, it's the most difficult for them because now they're having to look at us in a different way with one another. And we have been very thoughtful and we've taken things very slowly and we're being very patient. But things are good. They're peaceful and we want to continue to build on that." Amy has 2 children, daughters Ava McIntosh and Annie McIntosh, whom she shares with her ex Tim McIntosh. Tay has a 10-year-old named Sabin, whom he shares with his ex-wife Marilee Fiebig. EXES on the war path. On the same day the couple's podcast debuted, it was revealed that Marilee and Amy's ex-husband Andrew Shue were dating. In a resurfaced picture, Marilee and Andrew both leaned in closely to one another as they smiled for the camera and even rested their heads against each other. An insider told Page 6 that Marilee and Andrew have been dating for almost 6 months. It turned into something else, and they're connected over their values. It's bigger than the affair now, a source said. Another source close to Amy reportedly told Page Six she thinks her ex is trying to steal her thunder. She's convinced he did this to coincide with the debut of her podcast, they said. The source continued to say Amy is livid. Moving forward. On their podcast, TJ teased that he and Amy have taken the next step in their relationship and secretly tied the knot. During the episode, the pair answered listeners' questions regarding their whirlwind romance. One fan asked TJ if he'd consider getting matching tattoos with Amy, to which he had a shocking response. After a brief pause, he replied, "How do you know we haven't already? We'll leave it at that. Getting a tattoo together, that's more of a commitment than marriage." After a few more awkward moments, TJ continued, "Should we just tell everybody? We've got tattoos, we're married, and we live together." Amy laughed at her partner's comment, which could have hinted that his statement wasn't true.